It is Thursday, August 6th, 2026. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by T-Mobile. Where is my man, Trevor Plouffe? I'm Chris Rose. Producer Dan is along for the ride. Plouffe actually, late call-in, couldn't make it today. We get it. Things like that happen in the business. But as they said in show business a long time ago, the show must go on. And so we've done this before. I'm going to be taking your questions. And he did a great job sending them to us on Twitter, on Instagram. We obviously can't get to all of them, but we're going to get to a bunch of them coming up later in the show. I cannot wait because I love interacting with our community. You guys, you always get me thinking. Some of you made me laugh. Some of you came after me, but we're going to go at it. And I can't wait. And if you had any additional questions, you can throw those in the comments, and maybe I'll try and write some responses as I try to do just about every day on our YouTube channel. But I will start off with a tip of the cap. My Guardians had a crushing defeat against the New York Mets for a second straight day on Wednesday, but I will give some kudos to Jeffrey Yon. We have seen him before. I think he pitched for the Colorado Rockies in spring training. We were like, who is this guy that's doing jumping jacks out on the mound and stuff? He got his first ever big league strikeout, and he celebrated in style. He let him know. And you know what? Perfectly fine with me. It happened against my team. I dig stuff like that. In fact, later on, Angel Hanoa, who was making his major league debut, got his fourth hit of the night, drove in what was at the time a go-ahead run, and Jose Ramirez kind of mocked Jan in the dugout, jumping up and down. That's good. It's great for the sport. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Go find something else to watch or just go mumble under your breath, oh, those darn kids. That was pretty good. It felt like it was in the moment. I'm good with it. It was great to see, even though it was bad against my team. So there you go. So for all you people always say, well, how would you feel if it happened to your team? It did happen to my team. And I was perfectly fine with it. Got it? Good. All right. We are super excited. As I mentioned, we got all sorts of questions and answers coming up. But first, it is time for the most valuable moment, powered by Amazon. Just like Amazon helps you find the most value for every dollar during back-to-school season, we're going to break down perhaps the most valuable player in the National League. We had two guys on the same field Wednesday. They were incredible. One guy came out on top.
The 1-1. High fly ball, right field. That's back on its way. Out of here. Off the big board in right. Second of the day, PCA.
I would be crazy to say that I don't want to win an MVP, but if we're talking about having priorities straight, like I think mine are pretty straight. It's not on the forefront of my mind. It's fun to joke about it, and it's fun to acknowledge, and I think it's absolutely okay to pay attention to, but it's not like following me up to the plate. And yeah, I mean, I think if you guys want to talk about all this this back and forth, like I really should go get in the lab and start pitching. Like I really should.
Well finished there. I love that. So a couple of things from this game. Number one is the question, and it actually probably started about a month ago, when PCA got torching hot. We were like, can he replace Shohei as the National League MVP? Because we asked the question at the beginning of the year, what would have to happen for Shohei to not win the MVP? What would he have to hit 22 homers and have an ERA of 4? Well, that's not what's going to happen. He's going to hit over 30 homers. He's going to have an OPS over 900. But is he going to throw another pitch this year? And that is the question, because he was in the Cy Young discussion the first half of the year when he was strong and healthy and had an incredible start on the mound. At that point, nobody could catch him. So now the question is, can PCA, with the incredible offensive season he has had, with arguably being the best defensive player in the sport at a premium position and helping his team not only solidify themselves atop the National League wildcard standings, but maybe giving the Brewers a push here down the stretch, is that enough for him to leap over Shohei Ohtani? And to me, the answer is pretty simple. No. He's had an incredible year. And I think that if Ohtani were in the American League, PCA would far and away be the easy gambling favorite to win the National League MVP. But you heard the last part of his statement. He knows how astonishing it is, even to get a great, half year of pitching out of Shohei Ohtani. And look, we are seeing a once-in-a-lifetime shooting star. And I say this several times a year, how fortunate we are to be in this time period to be able to watch Shohei Ohtani do his thing. And so that does sway viewers and voters. Voters are human beings, right? Like you sit down, you watch, the voters sit there and they watch Ohtani and they're like, I cannot believe I get to cover this guy for a living. And that's part of the deal. It just is. So, of course, they're going to vote him a third straight MVP as a Dodger, a fifth one overall. It's not going to surprise me if he gets 2 and then passes Barry Bonds' record of 7 MVPs, because I think people want to be part of that story. Now, does Pete deserve it more than Shohei? Gosh almighty. If I had a vote, I still think I would probably vote Shohei, even though he's not going to, in my opinion, he's not going to throw a pitch in the second half. I know the Dodgers are hopeful, but gosh, I can't imagine it's going to happen, particularly now that they've traded for Skubal and they brought in Bubic, and I don't think that's going to happen. But let me know. I mean, is there a reason that you would pick PCA? I mean, some of his numbers are incredible, right? According to Fangraphs, this was going into Wednesday, Ohtani had 6.4 WAR, 3.4 offense, 3 pitching. PCA was better, 7.5 WAR. And also when you're talking about his defense, fielding run value, outs above average, leading Major League Baseball. It's incredible. And to me, the biggest change for him has been what he's done offensively. His chase rate's down, his walk rate is up, his strikeout rate is down, even though he still whiffs a lot. All that stuff. He's turned himself into bona fide MVP candidate. Unlike last year, start off great, all-star game, awesome, tumbled, hitting him down on the lineup in October. That's not going to happen. I love that kid. I love the energy he brings and everything else. The other question we have is, oh, by the way, the Cubs swept the Dodgers, handing LA its 6th straight loss. So the question is, are the Cubs now the team that can stare down the Dodgers in October, best out of all the teams, National League, American League? So it's really just 3 teams, because I don't count anybody from the American League as being a team that can look the Dodgers in the eye right now as presently constructed. We'll talk about Aaron Judge in a second. So it's Cubs, it's Brewers, and it's Braves. And who do you like best out of those 3 teams? I'll start with the Braves, who have their roller coaster season is back up. They have won 7 in a row. Elder, another great pitching performance. Austin Riley, welcome back to the lineup. Where you been? Actually, since the All-Star break, he's been pretty damn good. So I like them. I do wonder what that rotation is going to look like, though, whether it's a 5-game series or 7-game series. Like, who is next after Chris Sale? And Elder was great out of the gate. Then, just like the team, he hit a little bit of a slide, and recently he's been great again. But which one are you going to get in October, where he might only have one meaningful start? Is that day the day that he's going to be great? Or is he going to be, And then we got to rely on the bullpen and hopefully the offense to dig us out of something. And then they've got some veterans that, they're crossing their fingers on. Like Schwellenbach, I know that he's progressing. But my gosh, with a young arm like that and maybe not enough time to build up significantly, I don't know what role he might play. And I love that kid. I thought he was a dark horse Cy Young candidate, obviously, before these injuries started to hit him a little bit. So I like the Braves. Don't love them, but I like them. Brewers. Talked a lot about them. A lot of you Brewers fans say, keep my team out of your mouth. I said all of that based on love because I have such admiration. The only question with you, and look, Harrison came back last night, and before he left with cramps was sensational. Again, he's striking out the world. So really dependable number 2 as long as he's healthy, and this is going to be the most innings he's ever pitched. So those are 2 things to obviously watch in October behind Miz, who, remember, last year they had to baby him. Even in that game against the Dodgers, I think he pitched game 4, and he came out of the pen. Somebody went, I think McGill went the first, somebody went the first inning, and then he came out, and he looked great. But they limited him down the stretch last year. They're like, we got to watch him. That's not going to happen this year. Training wheels are off. He is our ace. He is our dude. I love that about him. Plouffe and I have talked about this offensively. Last in the league in homers hit. You got to hit some homers in the playoffs. The pitching's so damn good that if you get a rally and there's 2 on and 2 out and you don't put the ball over the wall, and then you get a measly ground out to end the inning, that is just a crusher offensively. So is the offense good enough? That's the big question. Even without getting Skubal, the pitching is good enough. I really believe it. And I made fun of the whole, Dustin May, does that get you excited for game 2? I did that whole thing. I do like Dustin May as a pitcher toward the middle and back end of the rotation. I think he's pretty nasty at times. Cubs. Love what they did at the deadline. Love it. Let's remember, they lost in 5 games in that divisional round to the Brewers last year, and it felt like half the time Craig Counsell had no idea who to throw out on the mound. They had veterans. Like, do we feel good about Shota? Well, hold on. We don't like him in the first inning, so we'll start somebody else in the first inning, then let him come in. Like, they were inside their own heads when it came to their pitching. Well, now they've picked up Kevin Gausman. They picked up Peterson a few weeks ago, who's really been sensational, with the exception, I believe, of one start, like maybe against St. Louis, where he got clobbered all over the place. Zephyr John, they just picked up out of the bullpen. He's already paying dividends for them. I think he'll be a good arm. He's got some nasty stuff. I think he gave up Shohei's second homer last night or yesterday, I think, maybe. But I think he's going to be dependable. Now, there were 3 names that pitched yesterday for them in the same rehab game. I think it was down in Iowa. So it was Cabrera, the starter, who will be back shortly. Milner, the lefty, always use more veteran lefty out of the pen. And most important, Palencia. Guy throws gas. And he was almost touching 100 in his first rehab appearance. That is a difference maker. So you add all of the guys they've got. You can't start them all, but they're all going to play some sort of bullpen role in the playoffs. Critical outs. Hell, even if you just get 4 outs and you're a starting pitcher, but they're outs, the last one in the 5th and 3 in the 6th, that's huge, dependable stuff. It'll be on this veteran lineup where they really didn't add much. They added Taylor, which I like as a 4th outfielder and a late-game defensive replacement for Seiya if they need to do that. But it's going to be on this veteran-laden lineup. Can Alex Bregman be Alex Bregman of playoff past? And I think he can. So if I'm to rank the teams that can take down the Dodgers in order, Cubs, Brewers, Braves. I don't think it's that big a difference between the 3, but that's where I've got them. I want to hear from you as well. Let's get to it. Got it? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So that was our fun little segment today, and we want to thank our partners at Amazon. Shop back to school at Amazon. Spend less on your kids. And I'll throw in one extra line. When you spend less on your kids, you get to spend more on yourself. Way more fun. Having done this for 25 years with kids, way more fun when you spend it on you and your wife or your husband or whomever. I don't care. It's a blast. Yankees. Good news, bad news day, right? Wasn't great on the field, except the pregame on the field was excellent. Why is that? Aaron Judge. We have an Aaron Judge sighting. He was out there doing some fun little stuff, the cute little baseball calisthenics. There they go. Let's do some of this stuff. Yeah, he'd been cleared to do that. No other baseball activities, right? He's had that fractured upper rib area. It's been out since late May. The offense has been horrible. The team's been .500. But the captain, after this, did talk about his future.
Oh, I'll be back this season. I don't know why I wouldn't be. That was always a plan to come back. Sooner than later, definitely. But I never had a thought of not playing this year.
Whew! Yankee fans are going, thank God. All we were hearing from was Cashman and Aaron Boone. We didn't heard from the big man in a while. He'll be back. When? When will you be back? He hasn't been cleared from baseball activities. It is August 6th right now. So he's doing the light stuff. He's doing the stuff that I do to warm up when I go to the gym to go see my trainer, Jorge. It's like, Chris, go get loose. So I do the fun little stuff. He's like, are you loose? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's go bench 50 pounds. Okay. He's not close to playing baseball. Can we call it what it is? It's going to be minimum, my guess, of 5 weeks. I think the earliest you see him is mid-September. Now the question is a 2-week major league ramp-up period enough to get Aaron Judge straight? Because if he's not straight, forget about it. Forget about it. This great starting rotation that the Yankees have put together, it will be all for naught. First of all, I couldn't believe they didn't add another bullpen arm. That was weird to me. But if they don't have Aaron Judge, if they don't have the Aaron Judge, not just talking about Aaron Judge, who stands 6'8" and wears 99, but I'm talking about the dude, Aaron Judge, who has been right up there with Pujols and Miguel Cabrera when we're talking about incredible right-handed hitting. You can put him in what order you want. I would put Judge 1, probably. I don't care about that. I need him in October healthy. Now, there are times where he has not played well. Last year was not one of them. Go ask the Toronto Blue Jays. He was tattooing balls left and right. He was not the reason they lost in 4 games. There have been times where Aaron Judge has not played well in October. This team cannot get to where it wants if Aaron Judge isn't 100. I can't say 100% because I don't know. I mean, Plouffe said this thing will bother him for months and months and months. Well, it's been since May 30th or 31st or whatever. And this has been a 500 team since then, and the offense has been bottom 5. Now, I know that Belly's going to come back. Awesome. Have you ever heard of a calf replacement? Can we do that for Giancarlo Stanton? Because I do like watching him play in October. It's freaking awesome. Aaron Judge, if he is not close to what he has been health-wise by mid-September, forget it. See you in 2027 at some point. I don't know when, but I'll see you. What's your level of optimism, Yankee fans? Are you cautiously optimistic? Are you worried? Let's go. Give it to me. All right. I'm the John Boy Media dad. It says it on my business cards. Not that people have business cards anymore. I take that role very seriously. I love to answer questions from people at our workplace. A lot of young people. There's people that are my oldest son's age. I've talked to you about that stuff. And then I just want to take a second here to tell you about something that is really, really important. And it's not always comfortable. It's about life insurance. When you become a parent, it's one of the most important things you can do. We don't know when our time comes, but I will tell you, it gives you such peace of mind to know that your hard work has paid off for your kids. Like I was joking a few minutes ago that, it's so much more fun spending money on you than it is your kids. That's a joke. I will do anything for my family, anything. And that means taking the next step when it talks about life insurance. And Ethos makes getting life insurance fast. It is completely online. You can get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You can get same-day coverage. Here's the cool thing. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few health questions online. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with some policies as low as $30 a month. Here's the nice thing. Once again, it's 100% online, so there's no agent to call. There's no doctor's office to visit. There's no weeks of waiting. Ethos helps protect the people who depend on you, and it takes about as long as watching half an inning of a baseball game. Do you have time to spare? You absolutely do. Take 10 minutes to get covered today. Life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/baseball today. That is ETHOS.com/baseball today. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. I'm telling you, it is as important as it comes. Go do that today. All right. We've arrived. It's question time. I want to thank everybody for sending them in. We got some good ones. We got some fun ones. We got some good baseball topics, all that sort of stuff that we can do. So we're going to get to it. Danny, do we have our first question? Let's see here. Okay. Question on Instagram from Let It Joe or Let It Joe about the Dodgers losing 6 in a row. Essentially, doesn't it prove we don't need a work stoppage? Oh. I love the innocent, the sweet little innocent ones out there. Of course, we don't need a work stoppage. Nobody needs this thing. But do you think that the Dodgers winning or not winning streaks during the regular season has any bearing on a work stoppage? No. And I'm going to tell you one other thing, two other things. The Tarek Skubal trade to the Dodgers will have no effect on a work stoppage. The Dodgers winning 3 in a row will have no effect on a work stoppage. The owners are using that as a ploy to try and get and win the heartstrings of the baseball fans out there. Do you see? It's impossible. We can't have it. There's no equity in the sport because the Dodgers keep kicking everybody's butt and your favorite team can't compete. What they failed to say is your favorite team can't compete because your owner doesn't feel like it. That's the part of the sentence that they left out. Now, of course, there is inequity. There's financial inequity. You'd be a moron to not point that out. We understand some of the advantage the Dodgers have had over the years, the sweetheart deal with the McCourts, all of that sort of stuff, the deferred contracts, which everybody has a chance to deliver those, and players have to decide to take them. But the Dodgers have obviously utilized that to their advantage. I'm not going to say that they get it and 29 other teams don't, because that's not factually accurate. But I am saying this. What happens with the Dodgers this year will have, if the Dodgers lose, if they don't win the World Series, do you really think that there won't be a work stoppage? There is, unfortunately. I'm not trying to be a negative person. I know how this stuff works. The owners say they want a salary cap. They know they're not getting that. So they're going to use this as a time to chip away, getting something else. I don't know exactly what it is they want to change that the players' union will have to give up, and they'll say, yeah, we'll give that up. Ha-ha, you didn't get us on the salary cap still, but we'll give up this. And that's what happens with each negotiating period. I've told you this before. It's why the deals in baseball are only 5 years, and in the NBA, they're 7 and 8, and in the NFL, they're 11 or 12, because the owners want to keep chipping away. Every 5 years, we want to take something else from the players' union. So I appreciate the question, and it was cute, but no, it'll have zero effect. None. All right, we got another question here. I think, let's see here. What MLB fan base is underrepresented at the JM office that you'd like to see somebody from that fan base work there? That's a great question, JTOPBB. Excellent. Look, we do have a nice diversity, and even the people you don't see, on camera or as content creators, right? Because Jolly is the Mets and Swilly's the Angels and Jimmy and Jake are the Yankees, and same with Joe's, and Ryan Cohen's a Padres fan and Dalton's a Diamondbacks fan, Palouse a Twins fan, I'm a Guardians fan. So we do have decent representation. I don't believe we have anybody from Chicago. I'm shocked about that. Really surprised. Chicago's a wonderful, let me grab a swig. Chicago's a wonderful sports town. Absolutely amazing. They've got an abundance of sports teams and interesting figures in their city. And this year, 2 fun baseball teams that I think will both make the playoffs. So I would like to see some representation there. Dan, I could be wrong, but I don't think we have anybody even in the office that's a diehard Chicago fan, is there? No, he confirms that. No one. Chicago. It's my favorite city in the country, May through October. Y'all can have November through April. I grew up in Cleveland. I grew up in that shitty weather. I'm done. I'm done with that for now. If I ever move to the Midwest again, I'll move there for the 5 or 6 months that it's decent. But I would like to see Chicago. Good, fun fans. The stadiums are fun. They like to party it up. Man, very good. Good question, though. All right, we got another one. Let's see what we got here. How would you feel if... Okay, Cody Wade. How would you feel if Talkin' Jake called you nerd boy? All right, well, for people that missed this was on Monday's trade deadline special on Talkin' Baseball, where I got a little heated, so this slipped out. I'll combine them. How many World Series have those 2 franchises won? Anybody? That's correct, nerd boy. 0. So why don't we try something different? Okay. It was in the moment, and just like I talked to you about Jeffrey Young going up and jumping through the gym when he got his first strikeout, I was on a heater there. So I wasn't like I was intentionally trying to diss Jake. And you heard me talk about this on the show the other day, how upset Michelle was. She was like, I need to reach out to Jake. So she left him the voice memo, which he loved. I'm just happy I still have a job. I suppose he could have fired me on the spot. Maybe this is my last week and I just don't know about it. But I think nerd is a cool term. I thought it was fun. And by the way, I've been called way worse than nerd. I've been called a lot of things. And if we're really hurt over nerd boy feelings, what are we doing? I like nerd. I have a great picture. I'll have to find it somewhere. God dang it. I should have sent this to Dan. I've got an incredible photo. For Halloween one year, I went dressed as a nerd, and Michelle had a T-shirt that said, "I love nerds." She was dressed as like a little cute girl, like kid, like student, right? She goes, "I love nerds." And I was like the high school nerd. I never dated anybody like that in high school. I finished strong, very strong. For those of you that see Michelle in person, amazing person, best friend in the world, smoke show. So if I was a nerd, good for me. Yeah. Whew. What else we got here, Dan? Got other questions? After 4 months of the ABS system, how much have you enjoyed it? Kyle, Cards fan? I love it. Love it. To me, it's like playing a game show in the middle of a baseball game. Right? Your catcher challenges. We're all like this. We're all looking at the screen going, yes! Plinko! Nailed it. And then when they screw it up, you're like, God. But it's fun. And my team, I think, is the worst at it, too. And I still love the system. Like the Guardians, we're going to have a major ABS class in the offseason. I know most people think their teams stink. Dan, why don't you look this up? I know I did it like a month ago, and they were dead last in challenge rate successful. The teams that are good at it, it can be a game changer. But it is fun. I don't know exactly what I would change. I will tell you this. It seems unfair when the ball... Do I even have a baseball around here? Oh, I've got them. They're all encased back there. So I don't think I've got a... Here. Let's pretend this is a regulation size baseball. Okay? And when it just nicks, like here's the edge of the box and it's touching it. Here. And you're like, that can't be a strike. Like the outside of the ball barely hit the outside of that little... I said, that can't be a strike. It just doesn't seem fair. But I guess, we've got to draw the line somewhere, literally. According to Dan, the Brewers and Guardians are the two worst at ABS challenging right now. It's interesting. One is definitely going to the playoffs and will contend for the World Series, and one will maybe get there. But I love the ABS system. I want to hear from you, like, why you wouldn't like it. I guess I need to hear the dissenting opinion. And I'm not going to yell at you but I am curious as to what it is you don't like about it. Are there areas where it can be better? Probably. But I actually think it's also made the umpiring better. I think in the beginning we were kind of waiting for, there was one game where Salvi, I think, challenged 3 straight pitches when he was behind the plate. And we're like, oh God, this could be a long day. But I don't feel like we hit that very much anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully it's made the umpires better. And I think it's made us more appreciative of them to understand how tough it is, because it is really challenging. All right, more of your questions coming up in just a bit, but a quick reminder that this episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by BetterHelp. There are a lot of therapy options out there, but what sets BetterHelp apart is what real users say about it. The average live therapy session rating is 4.9 out of 5. That's based on over 1.7 million client session reviews. You can see those reviews updated in real time at betterhelp.com/reviews. Hundreds of people every day sharing how much it has actually helped them. And getting started, it's rather simple. Answer a few questions. You're going to get matched with a therapist based on your needs. Switch at any time if it's not the right fit. Did you hear me? It is so important to have synergy between you and your therapist. And if it's not working, you move on, and that is okay. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. So all you have to do is visit betterhelp.com/baseball today. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball today. All right, we're getting back to more questions. Let's see what we've got here. With the phase out of the 200-plus innings a year starting pitchers, what do you believe the future of Hall of Fame starting pitchers will look like? Will pitchers' prime outweigh career totals? For example, let's see here. This is from Braden Burks. If DeGrom ends up getting in, I believe it'll shift how voters view starting pitchers in the Hall of Fame. Keep up the good work. Love listening to you guys while working. Well, thank you very much, Braden. Yeah, we don't have very many 200-inning starting pitchers anymore. It's like 3 a year now. I don't find that embarrassing, and I blame it on a couple of things. Number one, we're such a max effort game these days that guys just can't. I mean, the fact that Miz is still throwing like 104 in the 6th or 7th inning is like, that's beyond human. He's a cyborg. I don't know what lab they built him in, but it just doesn't happen. Guys can't do that, go all out and give us 7 innings. There are more. I think there's going to be more and more 6-man rotations. I think that you will see a change in starting pitching, and I think part of it is to keep salaries down. Go look at what your favorite relievers are getting, like the top of the line relievers. Maybe $20 million a year. I know Edwin Diaz signed 3 for $66, so it's $22 a year. Go compare that to what the best starting pitchers in the game are getting. So if we can minimize the effect a starting pitcher has on games, we can decrease his salary. It's all money play to some degree as well, right? How can we change the game and suppress salaries a bit? I think that's part of it. I think you have to be honest with yourselves. So let's get back to the Hall of Fame question and how we look at people. You're not going to have the counting numbers, right? Max Scherzer just cracked the top 10, I guess, in strikeouts. All like that should be a moment celebrated because we're just not going to have guys that'll do it. Well, first of all, they make so much damn money. Why would you want to pitch 20 years? Like Scherzer and Verlander, my God, good for them. Both in their 40s, still pitching. Verlander, we obviously have only seen one time this year. I do hope he gets a chance to pitch one more time before he gets out of here. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't think guys are going to have the longevity. Forget the wins. We blew past the wins thing 15 years ago, it felt like where that's not important. I think DeGrom's going to be a real interesting case. Real interesting, right? Comes out of the gate super hot, incredible, wins a couple of Cy Youngs, then disappears with the injury bug, then has reestablished himself nicely toward the end of his career. Obviously, being in New York is going to help him, but I think that's going to be I think it's a tough one to say he's going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. He was freaking dominant for like 5 years, off the charts great. So your question is 5 years of incredible dominance enough to put you in Cooperstown? And I do come from the school of, yeah, it's okay to have different types of Hall of Famers. Guys who are compilers and guys who are like not exactly shooting stars, but don't have the longevity. Love to know where everybody sits on that one. I think DeGrom is a coin toss at best right now. And I would say, just off the top of my head, no. But we are going to have to adjust. So thank you for the question. That was really good. All right, this one from Max. If you could orchestrate one that would never happen in reality, but maybe fun to see trade between contenders, what would it be? All right, I took a little liberty with this one. I'm not doing it for contenders. I'm strictly doing it for the sole purpose of I want to see if a guy can hit a ball 700 feet. I would have traded prime Giancarlo Stanton like between 2015 and 2017 to the Colorado Rockies because I want to see him play in that ballpark 81 times a year. He hit one 504 feet one time, I believe, to left center field. I think that, I mean, that man's strength when he was healthy and he had his legs was insane. Nobody wanted to get in front of that ball. You know how like they fight for the home run ball? Everybody sees that thing going like, get the hell out the way. So I wanted to see him play 81 games for the Colorado Rockies. Yes. And one of those years, what was it, 2018? They played game 163 with the Dodgers. So let's throw I know that was his first year in New York, I believe. But I wanted to see like prime healthy G out in Colorado. We could have gotten over 600 feet. I am convinced of that. Heck yeah, I am. All right. Got another one? Most overrated ballpark food you've ever had. Is this Winstagrams? I think is probably how I would pronounce it. I apologize if that's not the way it is. Okay, for me, it's down to 2. And you can convince me in the comments which one is worse. Cracker Jacks and cotton candy. Cracker Jacks, the only thing that makes it interesting is you want to see what sort of bullshit they put inside the box. Let's be honest. The concoction of goo that they put in there is just, and I am a human garbage disposal. I'll eat just about anything. I don't get it. I don't like the taste. The nuts are weird to me. They have usually like the popcorn that's in it feels like it's been in there since the 70s. So it's not even a good consistency. And don't get me started on cotton candy. What the hell? I'll just sit under a whole thing of sugar and just down that. I first of all, it's ridiculously messy. If you don't have wipes standing by, you might as well just eat that shit and go home. Like you could probably spend 15 minutes in the ballpark bathroom and still not feel like you got that crap off of your hands. I mean, I also feel like you're eating hair. It just, none of it's good. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and let me know what is the worst ballpark food, please. Okay? What else we got here, Dan? Got another one? Giants fan here. For fans of teams like mine that were huge sellers at the deadline and received prospects we won't see in the bigs for years, what are some things we can enjoy now that a lot of our favorite guys are gone? Help. And that's plants, food, and bikes. This is a great question. I always feel for teams because I've been there too. Not a lot lately in the Guardians circle, but I mean, look, I grew up. I've told you this. First 23 years of my life, the then Indians did not finish higher than 4th in their division. That's hard to do. Can't fall into a 3rd place finish one year. Whoops. There we are, 3rd place. I'm not talking about making the playoffs. I'm talking about not finishing 4th or worse. So I had a lot of this. I had a lot of practice. So the young guys, when they come up, right, like you'll want to follow Bryce Eldridge and pray that he gets it done. You want to be able to feel good about where the organization goes at the end of this year because this has been a total dumpster fire. The veteran bats got off to a horrific start. Now I'm reading that Chapman might have to have surgery. I hope he's okay. I think it's an abdominal thing, so he should be fine. You know, you want to see Devers, like he's obviously swung the bat better. Adames, get it going. But you want to see some of those young guys that are up there. Like I'm watching Bryce Eldridge. He should be playing every day. I kind of lost track. I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched a lot of Giants baseball because they've just been so far off the importance radar. I'll be curious to see what happens with Tony Vitello in the offseason. I know that's not like going to help you watch for during games. And by the way, the mistakes he made, fine. Let him make all of his mistakes right now while they're out of it. Perfectly fine with that. And he has made his share of mistakes. I would like to see him continue on. I think he does have something to bring to this game as far as enthusiasm, a different outlook. And look, even the good teams' fan bases can't stand their managerial decisions. So Giants fans, you're not alone in that rowboat. But yeah, pick a handful of young people that you enjoy watching and just watch them. They're going to have some bad nights, but dare to dream. And then just start to try and figure it out. How are we doing when it comes to, like, how close are we to getting back in the wild card talk? How far away? Like, we held on to Logan Webb, which I think was a good thing for the organization, although I would have dangled him out there to see what I could have gotten. Plus, I like seeing that guy pitch with games on the line. He's a big onions guy. I hope that helps a little bit. Just hang with them, though, is what I would say. Hang with them. All right, today's episode, it is sponsored by Hims. Weight loss, I can tell you, it is hard enough without the right support behind it. Weight Loss by Hims now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications that includes Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. Wegovy is the first ever GLP-1 pill for weight loss, so there's no needles needed. You combine it with diet and exercise, two important things. It can help lose up to 20% of body weight. Everything happens online. Connect with a licensed provider. If prescribed, medication ships right to your door. There's no insurance necessary. So the question is, are you ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/baseball today to get a personalized, affordable plan that actually gets you. That is Hims, HIMS.com/baseball today. Hims.com/baseball today. Weight Loss by Hims, not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is a registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. Each letter, right? AS. We've got the hyphen, / in between. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information and restrictions, visit hims.com. Once again, that was Novo Nordisk A/S. Wanted to get that straight for everybody out there. Go out there, and I wish you the best of luck. Courtesy of Hims. All right, few more questions, then we'll get out of here for the day. My guy, Angel Hano, 4 hits in his Cleveland debut. That was so awesome. What player did you watch and immediately afterward you said that guy's going to be a good MLB player? Andrew, Dogs, appreciate the question. Spin back the Wayback Machine, I think 16 years, 2010. Steven Strasburg, because the hype machine was at an all-time high. And he came out, I think it was a Tuesday night against the Pirates. It was a game that was on MLB Network, and he struck out 14 dudes in 7 innings. And I was like, whoa, whoa. Now we got a guy in his major league debut. We're like, he went 4 1/3. He did such a good job. And we were like, that dude's awesome. He was the number 1 pick by the Nationals previous year, I believe. And, they hadn't had great players there at all. There was no history. They'd only gotten there, 5 years earlier? Ryan Zimmerman was good. But this guy was a star, and you went, holy. Now, I think they mishandled him to some degree. He wasn't a guy that liked to talk to the media, but you could only talk to him the day he started. Other than that, he was off limits. I really thought they babied him. And then obviously the injuries took their toll, but his stuff, nasty. We're showing, if you're not on YouTube right now, just do yourself a favor. When you get a second, spin up those highlights from that night. Filthy. He did end up winning a ring and a World Series MVP at that, so he did it. And then he got his bag. Whew. I think he's still getting paid, isn't he? It's possible. All right, what else we got here? We only got a couple more. This from Ryan. What's your favorite memory from the Best Damn Sports Show, period? Thank you for asking. So many of them. So many incredible trips. Some stories I cannot share, and I will not write them in a book. They will always be right here and here. But one of the great moments, we were the area where Michael Strahan really got his TV start. He would join us all the time, virtually every Monday after a Giants game, and the Fox executives looked at that guy. They're like, that dude's a star. Well, later, this is probably 2007 or 8, Tom Arnold had left the show. He was obviously the original. He was the star of the show when we first began. And he came back one day as a guest. And this is an April Fool's joke that we were all in on, that he had written a second book, a fictitious book where he started taking shots. He had lines in there about Rodney and Dibble and Strahan, who was a guest host. We thought that they were good friends, but he started picking on Strahan. And then things started getting haywire-y. Give a watch.
New autobiography, True Lies, is due out this summer. Please welcome back our good friend, Tom.
so I wrote it, and I put the gossip in there that they like, and the stories and the weird stuff.
You need the money that bad to put Rodney and I in your book?
Well, it's an honor to be in my book, Dibble.
No, it's not.
It is.
That is not an honor.
Ron, how many books have you been in? And I also got great quotes in there from Tiki about you.
Tiki Barber, right?
Tiki Barber.
Like what?
Not a team player. That you got $2 million per sack.
You
said it to me.
You get to figure out how to say it.
If you had said
Get up.
April Fool's!
Okay. So the story behind the story was we were all in on it, except for Dibble and Rodney and Strahan. The entire production crew. Or so we thought. Tom had called Strahan the night before, and he said, listen, those guys all think that I'm going to point my finger at you, and then they're going to get all upset and all this sort of stuff. He and Strahan devised a plan to go off script. But Tom didn't tell any of us. So that panicked look on my face where I'm like this, like when they start fighting, that is serious. Now, you could see how pissed off Dibble was. And Dibble is half crazy. So when he looked at him, I thought he was going to kill Tom. And I think Tom was sweating bullets too. So Tom starts getting at Strahan. Strahan starts putting a finger in the face, and they start going at it. That fight is real. Rodney and Dibble, what you can't see is they start giving punches to Tom in his rib cage, and they start really going after him. Our director panics and cuts the cameras. So we didn't get the original April Fools. Nobody had it because they panicked. Word of advice: don't ever cut cameras unless somebody's dead. Don't do it. You know that little Netflix special where the dude climbed up the building? They were on a massive delay there. We could cut the cameras. If they get in a little fight on a Best Damn set, don't ever cut the cameras. So they got us all. Tom and Stray got us good. So we had to reshoot the ending. You'll notice the ending. We had to actually get back on the floor, reposition ourselves, and then stand up. And he goes, April Fools. And we all go, ah. So that last part, so the 95% of it is real and authentic. The last 10 seconds is not. But that was a great moment. That was a great, great moment. All right, look, I got to get going. I appreciate everybody's questions. Awesome stuff today. We're not going to do this very often, right? We got caught in a bind here. Something happened, but we still need to give you a show. And occasionally it's okay to do this. You're a huge part of what we do. Your thoughts, your questions, your answers, the way you see things. You have a voice here at John Boy Media, and I love that about this community is that there's instant feedback. So let us know what you thought of this. I'm going to throw one other thing out. I almost did a different kind of show. I almost had my son co-host. He's a baseball savant. He loves it. He's like, look, Dad, I'll do it for you. That's why I love Joshy. He will do anything for his parents and his brother. He's a great team player. I thought it over. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. If Plouffe, has a late scratch or something happens one day and we can't get anybody to fill in. Everybody at the office is so busy, and they're usually great, right? Jolly will hop in, Jimmy Norp, Swilly, Dalton, they're all great. Everybody is really super busy. You can understand that. So we just, people's schedules. But you can let us know. I appreciate you. Trevor will be back on Friday. I cannot wait as we get you set for another baseball weekend. I love my community. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, who always does an incredible job, even though he drives me nuts sometimes in the most loving way, Trevor Plouffe will be back tomorrow. That's the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday on Baseball Today, presented to you by T-Mobile.